Welcome to Metal Base. My name is Tom Backer. In this video, I will be showing you how to finish a print job on our Metal 3D printer. The first step is to disable the nitrogen supply to the system. The job is done and we don't need inert gas anymore. After that, I remove the lid. This will instantly disable the power to the laser. Via the safety system, this can also be observed by looking at the light indicator on the front of the machine. This light has three statuses: green, blue, and red. Green indicates that everything is okay and ready for printing. Blue indicates that the oxygen level inside the printer is still too high, and red indicates that the lid is not closed. Once the lid is removed, we can use the clipper interface to raise the build plate. This will allow for easy powder removal into the overflow bin that is located to the right of the build plate. The removal of the powder can be done using a simple spatula. Just make sure not to wipe any powder into the air nozzles that are on the front and rear of the build plate. Once the bulk of the powder is removed, you can use a simple vacuum cleaner to remove the remaining powder. I only use this vacuum cleaner for this specific job so I can reuse the powder in it. Then it is only a matter of removing 4 M5 screws to be able to remove the build plate. The build plate can then be turned over the overflow bin to remove the remaining powder inside the part. Here you can see the part right as it comes of the machine. You can also see that there is a layer of 4 to 5 millimeters of support material on the bottom of the part. This is done to enable easy part removal without damaging the build plate or the part. We can now move the build plate with the attached part to the workbench. I put the build plate with the attached part on a paper sheet to remove the part from the build plate. This is done to prevent any powder spills in between the support material. There is still loose powder that will come out once I separate the part from the build plate. To remove the part, I use a simple chisel and I align it with the surface of the build plate. I then go around the part and weaken the supports. Once the supports have been weakened enough, I will hammer a bit longer on one part until the part comes loose. You can see the remaining supports on the build plate and on the bottom side of the part. I then throw away the paper sheet with the powder that was stuck between the supports. The next step is to remove the support from the build plate and from the part. I use a simple angle grinder for this with a sanding disc attached. It is then only a matter of lightly removing the supports. Because the supports are constructed of only single laser lines of 0.15 millimeters, they can be easily removed. Now the remaining steps are to clean the printer and prepare it for the next print job. It is never wise to leave unused powder in the machine. The powder will attract moisture and this will negatively impact the printing performance. To remove the powder from the powder supply, I use a simple spoon. I then put the powder in a glass air-sealed container. This will keep any moisture away from the powder. Because this powder has not been near any printing activities, I put it in the container without sieving it. For the last remaining powder in the machine, I will use the vacuum cleaner to remove it. The last step on the machine is to install the build plate again. The machine is now ready for the next print job. Now it is time to retrieve the unused powder from the overflow bin. The bin can be easily removed via a panel on the right side of the machine. To prepare the powder for the next print job, it is important to sieve the powder. During the printing process, small clumps of particles can be generated that remain in the powder. If these large particles remain in the powder during the next print job, it can cause lines and stripes in the powder bed. This can cause lack of fusion issues on those layers and impact part quality. For the sieving, I use a simple flour sieve in combination with a funnel to sieve the powder. For showing purposes, I didn't install the lid cover. The cover will prevent any dust from escaping the sieve. During the sieving step, it is especially important to have a dust mask. After all the sieving is done, the particles on the sieve can be thrown away. The powder overflow can be installed again on the machine. These are all the steps required to finish a print on the Metal 1.0 system from Metal Base. Thank you for watching, and print lots of metal parts.